Hudson Pride Executive Director Jeffrey Campbell sat down with Hudson County View to discuss a variety of issues facing the LGBT community. He opened up by talking about what Hudson Pride does as an organization.
Hudson Pride Connections is a 21-year-old LGBT center here in Jersey City that serves pretty much the bulk of Hudson County and some other surrounding areas. We serve to create a safe place for lesbian, bisexual, gay, and transgender individuals, as well as persons who are in that questioning stage of which one of those, I guess, labels they would like to exist under, or that they do exist under, but they have not yet, brought all the pieces together. And so we provide an array of services, from support groups to actually providing space for a rainbow NA group, a rainbow AA group. We also do a large amount of the service linkage, linking folks to care in Hudson County who are living with HIV, who have not yet been in care, or who have been in care but have fallen out of care for at least 6 months to a year. So we really do a lot of work in that area. And it's not just for the LGBT community. We also serve women of color as well when we're linking folks to care.
I also asked him about whether closeted politicians should come out in a day and age where LGBT acceptance is very high, so as to be a role model for LGBT youth, who are still much more likely to commit suicide or harm themselves than their heterosexual peers.
I have a belief system that everybody is on a different level of being out. And just because a person is not on the front lines does not mean that that person is in the closet. I think people have to work through some things and live their lives. For me, as long as that person is living a healthy life, that's good for me. If they're not damaging themselves because of internal shame or internal hatred, and if they're also not being contradictory to their life, if they're gay or lesbian and then they're on the front lines of the homo hatred speak, that's an issue for me. I do like the idea of politicians who are LGBT or T coming out and helping our young people, again, like you said, to understand that you too can serve our country as a political leader. And it may not even be about being a political leader. It may be about just being a human being, and being out and being okay with who you are, and out to that level of being a public figure. So for me, it's really about that individual. Are they healthy? Are they whole? Because I don't believe that everybody is made for the parade. I don't believe that everybody is made to do protest and to be in the newspaper and in other news formats. But that does not mean that that person is living a closeted lifestyle. And I think that's where we struggle, because everybody has a different definition of what it means to be out of the closet.
In addition, we spoke about LGBT youth becoming much more likely to abuse drugs than their heterosexual peers, and I asked whether changing drug policy was as important as achieving marriage equality in all 50 states.
I think we have to learn how to do it simultaneously, because each of those movements they address different target audiences. So where you have a 17-year-old who may be using drugs, experimenting with drugs, they're probably not concerned about marriage equality, and may not even be aware that they live in a state where they can get married once they become of age. So I do think that the rate of drug use among LGBT youth, I mean, you've said it, it's the research is done. It is far greater than that of their heterosexual counterparts. I do think that we have to have policies in place and programs in place in order to address the issue of drug use among our teenagers and young adults. I think we also have to understand that everybody's not using a recreational drug just because they want to be they want to recreate. There are people who are using those drugs to silence and soften some of the pain that they're experiencing. It's pain of rejection, pain of being kicked out by parents and family, pain of a lost relationship. And we have to address those mental health issues in conjunction with addressing the use of drugs among our young people. So yes, we need money to do it, we need policy to do it, and it is just as important as marriage equality.
Finally, I asked about what Hudson Pride was doing to address domestic abuse in homosexual relationships, and Mr. Campbell spoke about the future of the organization.
I don't think that we've really honed in on addressing the issue of violence or domestic violence in same-sex couple relationship, just as much as I don't think that we've honed in on it in regards to our heterosexual couples. So I think both heterosexual and LGBT groups or couples, we still have a lot of work to do in identifying what's causing the violence in those relationships, what causes the perpetrator to lash out, and what causes that person to stay in a relationship that is not healthy for them. I think we got a lot of work to do, and that's one of the things that we try to do here at Hudson Pride, and futuristically we're looking at addressing and being a hub for mental health services for persons who are for persons who are LGBT, as well as persons who are living with HIV, and domestic violence will be one of those bigger pieces of the puzzle in this mental health program that we're working to construct right now.
I'm Michael Shuren with Hudson County View, the eye of the community.